So that's the latest imagery there on Cyclone Trevor. David, do you have the latest, or shall we go first with the Let's go with the ISS. This is what the ISS caught last hour. That was how the storm looked there. It was really quite a phenomenal look, wasn't it?
Yes, and I'm hoping that we might be able to get a little bit more footage on the next flyover, but very impressive. And look at those rain bands, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
But another one, and the video is now on the main channel.
And the information on Cyclone Idai, the latest that's come to us, 404 killed and over 840 injured. Huge amounts of devastation in Eastern Africa, David. But let's come now on to Trevor squarely, and could you show us the latest track forecast maps for us?
Yes, I'm just quickly going. They keep it at free, cat free, at 7 AM. There it is. So they have a category 3. Oh,
so
sorry. Yeah.
This is the so that's 7 AM that they did that up. How are they doing? They're doing 3-hourly updates. Update at 7:40. They do odd times for an update, don't they? 7:43 AM. They came out with that one.
And I had an idea they would bring it out 15 minutes earlier, so probably about 11:15 my time for the next one, Nathan.
Now the way we're doing this now is that you know, the situation isn't evolving particularly quickly, and there's not many of us here. It's just me and you again at the minute, David. So we're keeping our updates rather terse and short and concise. So we're just going to be here for a few minutes in this hour, and then we're going to come back with another update at the top of the next hour. We're mainly just providing all of this visual content, which is self-updating, so that people can see all the changes as they're happening and really take a look for themselves. But if we're not talking, then just send a message to Force 13 if you've got a question, and we'll respond in the chat feature as well. But we can take your questions whilst we're on the air for this brief period here, and you can send a message to Force 13 in the YouTube chat. So the future of the storm, David, what's your analysis?
Well, the Bureau keeps it at a cat-free landfall, but I reckon this afternoon, I think the Bureau is actually saying an earlier landfall this afternoon rather than the evening. And I'm just...
Can you remind us of the watch and warning areas again? Or shall I read them out? I can see them here.
Off Ness to Cape Flattery, extending across Cape York Peninsula to Porpuroo to Mapoon, including Reaper, Leichhardt, River and Cohen. The cyclone watches Mapoon to Cape York. They keep it intensity free. It's 20 kilometres to 12.9 degrees south, 144.4 degrees east, estimated to be 120 kilometres east of Leichhardt River and 270 kilometres east of Reaper. Movement west-southwest at 7 kilometres an hour. And Nathan, the Tropical Cyclone Warning Centre here in Brisbane is indicating that Trevor continues to intensify. So is it going to be a Cat 4?
On the Australian scale, that's quite possible, yes.
Yes, and the cyclone will most likely cross as a high-end Cat 3. But further intensification, a Category 4 cannot be ruled out. So well, that's the latest. So they're indicating a high range Cat 3, possibly 4 on landfall.
Yeah, we've just been looking at that imagery again. The eye is just, you know, playing a bit of hide and seek with us, David. It's been coming in and out. It really came out in the last hour. It looks like it's going back in again a little bit. A very small eye and just clouding over a little bit again. But it's definitely there, and it's really yet to show itself properly. I was trying to get the eye temperature earlier. It didn't come up for me. But looking at the colours there, the greys, that's probably into the positive temperatures above freezing, and that usually means a very intense eye.
And Nathan, I've got the Reaper radar up for you when you want to switch over.
We're on it.
And you can clearly see that the rain band is actually Cape Melville up to Greenville. And I'll have a look at the central pressure.
Zoom in on that, on one of those areas if you can.
Alright.
No, I was thinking going to, is that the closest radar?
Yes, it is.
I mean, on their zoom settings, it would be nice if you could get in a bit closer, because I think you'd be able to, because what are you on there at the minute, 256 kilometers?
Yeah, but it's the Reaper radar.
No, you're on the 512. Try the 256. We'll just get a better resolution. Yeah, there you go.
That's it there.
Centre of the storm coming onto the 256 kilometer radar. Quite clearly there. We've not really factored in its speed of movement yet and what that might mean, so I'm just going to see. In the last hour, the storm has actually moved very little. Really, it's only moved about 3 miles. And it is 55 miles from land. Not to say it's going to move at 3 miles an hour every hour, but it is still 55 miles away from land, which could mean more time for strengthening. Very warm sea surface temperatures, very low wind shear.
Yes. So they're saying high range Cat 4, high range Cat 3.
On the Australian scale.
Landfall, yep.
Which is sort of a category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson scale.
And they're saying prior to landfall it could be Cat 4.
Yes.
So that what we've just mentioned about slowing and sea surface temperature and how far it's travelled, that lends right to what the centre is saying about a high range Cat 3.
Yep. All right. We want to make this quite short, David, so whilst we're moving, let's move on to something else that's going on in the tropics tonight, or this morning, and that is Tropical Depression 3W. It's moving over the Philippines right now. The Philippine name is Chedeng, and as you can see, it's moving over Mindanao, delivering large amounts of rainfall over the area. And let me just get the information from Pagasa with the latest warnings. Signal 1 warnings are in effect for Davao Oriental, Compostela Valley, Davao del Sur, Davao City, General Santos City, Davao Occidental, southern portion of Davao del Norte, including Samal Island, the eastern portion of North Cotabato and South Cotabato, eastern portion of Sarangani, and the eastern portion of Sultan Kudarat. Signal 1 warnings mean that winds of 30 to 60 kilometers per hour may be expected in these areas. But we're really worried about the rainfall there in the southeastern corner of Mindanao, where rainfall amounts could reach 300 millimeters. Elsewhere we have Trevor, of course, there it is, Invest 96W which has flared up a little bit in those latest frames to the southwest of Chuuk in Micronesia. Tropical Cyclone Savannah, which is dying in the open Indian Ocean. Invest 95S to the northwest of Australia, could develop into our next storm. The next name in the Australian region, David?
Veronica, and it is currently 1005 millibars, located 14 south, 122 east. And the bureau over there in Perth is indicating 1003 millibars, 15 south, 119 at 20 UTC. And just quickly on Savannah, La Reunion has a gale warning, and they have it as a moderate tropical storm.
Yep, and that is the Meteo France track there. And the JTWC track for Trevor looks like this. They're calling for a Category 3 landfall on the Saffir-Simpson scale and a Category 4 landfall in the Gulf of Carpentaria for its second landfall. That is definitely possible. And if we keep going, the HWRF wants it to be a Category 5 landfall for that second landfall there, which would be devastating to that sparsely populated region. And there's the rainfall threat as well, possibly up over 24 inches for parts of the eastern areas of the Cape York Peninsula. Moving across these NHC graphics, we find this chart as well, showing the damage potential in the Philippines. This is really what we've been showing you in the last hour. And this is the GFS forecast for a possible South Atlantic storm next week. You'll probably be hearing more about that as time goes on, but we thought we'd like to flag that up with you. David, anything else before we go?
I'm just thinking about Trevor. He only has to track southwest, and the picture changes. And I'm thinking about the massive flooding from Omar down there in the southern Gulf of Carpentaria region. And the rainfall factor, which I haven't checked with the Bureau's latest information.
All right.
And we're live streaming on the Facebook page.
We are indeed. That concludes this short update. We'll leave you with the news, the latest headlines from Cyclone Idai. The death toll is continuing to rise there. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. It's now responsible for at least 404 fatalities and 847 injuries, and has dumped over 760 millimeters of rain over parts of Mozambique. You can stay up to date on our outlets. We're going to continue to throw it back to the automated stream now until the next update that we'll be doing. We're doing short updates every hour, and in the meantime we'll leave you with all the imagery so that you can check in and out whenever you like to take a look at what the latest situation is. We'll keep all the imagery up to date. This is Force 13's live streaming service. We'll be back again with another update, 11 PM UTC.